This is the Outliers Edge podcast, where we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity by taking them to the edge of their comfort zone so that they can lead us to the edge of what's next. I'm your host, Niiamah Ashong. Let's do this. And hey, everyone, let's do this here. Niiamah Ashong here, founder of Outliers Edge, where we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. So today I get a chance to be in a conversation with Jeannette Meier of the Positive Impact Movement. I'm going to say it again, Positive Impact Movement. I was positively impacted as I was saying that there. But Jeannette's one of the most incredible people that I've met that I know in my life. We were talking beforehand, and what I realized was that like the way that we have our conversations like are like there's so much like value, there's so much in like juiciness, there's so much exchange that's in here that I'm like, let's just hit record and like make this and provide this as a resource as well inside of this world. Jeannette, it took us a while. We were talking about the languages we know and learning how we learn and all that. But we finally just got into this space here. Can I just say that this is who you are to me. I'm going to let you speak, I promise. But yeah, I'm feeling like I feel like I really wanted to share who you are to me. And Jeannette, who you are to me is someone who has experienced the world in a way that many others do, from the standpoint of of creating success in more traditional ways. And yet at the same time, like, you're someone who represents to me like someone who knows what it could be and actively chooses to create beyond that. When I talk to you, Jeannette, like a lot of the new ideas that are percolating, a lot of the ways that like I'm choosing to be in the world has come from one of our conversations. Even the simple word choice of collaboration versus co-creation. For me, both of those things existed as one element. And, there was a thing around co-creation that felt different kind of energetically, but for myself, like at that time felt very interchangeable. But in spending time with you, and this is just one of the things that you do, you help create new distinctions for things that we experience on an everyday basis. And in those distinctions, you're able to elevate what that word or experience means, as well as deepen our the connection to it. So I just see you as one of the most influential people in my world. I see you as someone who is constantly on a learning journey, and I get how you do it because you're learning from everyone at every time, in addition to just continuously building up like your intellect, not just the brain intellect, but the intellect all throughout you. And I am positively super, super, super excited to just be in another conversation with you. Yeah, that feels good. That's who you are to me right now.
You're amazing. You know that we are reflections, no? You see me, but you are, and I see in you who I am. And I thank you so much for having me here and for allowing me to have conversations with you, not only today, but the ones we have had in the past weeks, because as you say, I love to co-create. I love to co-create, to flow with you, to open my heart. And I loved that you said that I see in people, no, what I see, in which for me, this is the power of being. This is the freedom to be who you are and create what you love, no? And for you to feel safe and in freedom to be who you are with me, because that opens your heart and that grows you and me. And I learn so much from you when you share, when you are you, I love that. I thank you for that.
Let me take a second, just receive that really quickly. Yeah, well, thanks for putting that in there. There's something about you said you're feeling safe and free. I like there's an element of expansion that I think comes along with you in our conversations here, and I do think that's important because I've been in places that where people create safety, you know,
Mhm.
and it's interesting at this point in my journey. I've been exploring like, do I just want to create safe spaces? What one of the things is this, like, you know, like I say this here. I recently became a Black man, right? And one of the things that growing up as a Black man in America, one of the things that the media told me, like, you know, basically like the experiences that I had around others were kind of telling me, and I kind of filtered for myself in here, is that as a Black man, you are a danger. You're dangerous to people, you know. And so being dangerous is something that I like. I didn't want to be associated with. I didn't want to be associated with that at all because like then I would be alone. No one would want to be around me, so on and so forth. So all that is to say, like I cultivated very intentionally, maybe not, maybe subconsciously, but still intentionally, like a world of safety around me. So it's actually quite safe to be around me. Um, and yet, like I find that there's something, it's almost as though like safety for me is like the platform. It's like you can be safe and come in, be safe, be held, and leave and
Mhm.
be almost exactly the same. Or you can come in, be safe, be held, use that safety and heldness to like expand, grow,
Mhm.
play, go up, like challenge yourself, so on and so forth, and then come out slightly more transformed. Now, that's not giving full credit to just being safe and held, like absolutely, but I do want to call that out in terms of like when I experience you. There's this element of like something new gets created with the safety and freedom that's there, rather than necessarily simply acknowledged, which has its value as well. So like, I'm curious for you because this shows up for me. Like I call it like creating space versus holding space. That's the way that I look at that in terms of distinction. Um, when I say that, does any of that resonate as true? Like do you get? I'm kind of curious. Like, do you get that distinction here? Do you feel that as well in different areas?
For me, expansion and growth are very important because when we allow ourselves to be, we grow and we expand. Because whenever we allow ourselves to be, and when we do it in freedom and in safety, because we are allowing it for us to happen, we are learning, no? We are learning with ourselves and with who we are, with who I'm meeting and in relationship with, no? So yes, I think, and this is the beingness, no? The beingness is really expansion and growth. When we are in the moment, and I'm learning from you, I'm listening from you, Niiamah, I'm sharing with you. At the same time, I'm listening what I'm sharing, and I'm recognizing certain things, no? And I'm integrating certain things. So I'm growing and expanding, and I can do it in safety and safely because I'm here allowing myself to be. So I create for myself this free space, no? Because I want to continue growing, and I want to continue learning, and I want to continue co-learning, co-creating, and co-evolving with who I am in relationship with, no? In a certain moment in time. So this is the space I say we are in when we have a conversation, and it's going into the heart. It's this living from the inside out, from the heart to the world, from my heart to your heart, and your heart to my heart. I always say there's the balance of giving and receiving, which is so important. We are used to having to give, no, to be good, to do good, but where's the receiving in that? Or we want to receive, and where are we giving? So those there's a balance in the giving and the receiving. And last week or so, I realized that this balance comes from this expansion from my heart to the world. I'm giving, okay, and I'm expanding my heart to the world. That's the interconnectedness gets very strong, this co-creation. And then when I inhale, I'm receiving into the heart. And that's the energy, not this inside out, outside in, inside out, outside in, through the heart. Not this living from the inside out, and living from the heart, connecting to the heart, and from there co-creating, you and me here in conversations. So when we are in our heart, there's safety, there's freedom, there's such a huge energy of positive impact, now that we are expanding outward to whoever is with us. So that's the safety and freedom space, I think.
I'm feeling called when you say this, Jeannette, to do something I've never really done before, but I would love to just like be in the inhale, exhale with you and anyone else that watches this as a resource in the future. Like, let us get into synchronization. Let us just like inhale, exhale, and bring out that safety, connect with that in our heart in this moment. You good with that?
I'm super happy.
Okay, awesome. Let's just like, I think the way we'll do is just like, we'll breathe in for 3 and then we'll breathe out for 3. And in that, we'll just be embodying and bringing in all that you said. All right.
And to remind everyone to really go into the heart, and from there to breathe out and breathe in, or breathe in and breathe out. But being in the heart, being there, not in our mind, going down.
Let's do that. Let's allow yourself to get into your heart. Open your heart, and whether it's 1% or 100%, just let that have its space. And let's just breathe in from the heart. Then breathe out from the heart. And let's just do one more for good measure. Breathe in one more time from the heart. And breathe out from the heart. I think it's I felt called to be in space and to experience this with you, Jeannette, because I think it's one thing to hear it intellectually, and it's one thing to hear it and try and connect with it, and then it's another thing to bring it into practice and to see. And it was just so beautifully articulated when you're talking about the in and the out. I'm like, then let us experience that. Let the two of us connect even more in this moment with it. I can feel myself in this moment, like the way that my eyes are focused, they've shifted. What the things on the peripheries have actually started to blur out. You actually look like you're in, like, there's more radiance, there's more color that's coming through. Like, I'm seeing different elements of you, and I just feel, while the heart is open, I can hear my voice. I'm sure I can come back to this and hear a difference in the cadence of my voice, as well as like the texture, timbre of it as well, as this moves to the heart, breathing in and out, to the heart connecting, and moving from there.
Yes. And this is something that we can do at any point in time. So you mentioned it last time we had the conversation, that when I told you asked me if I needed some time to relax from the working day, no?
Yes.
I told you, Niiamah, I'm already in my heart listening to you. So I'm already meditating. I'm already in such a state that I don't need any minutes, or I don't need to close my eyes. I'm already there, no? And you mentioned it so beautifully that you gave this name that I'm using now, which is active meditation. And this is something we can do at any moment in time. And every time we sit down and have a conversation with someone, anywhere, at work, home, anywhere, in a bus, in a train, go into the heart, do it from there, because everything changes. It's so beautiful. And this is this co-creation that we are doing, this co-creation of this new world by living from the inside out, by being ourselves, by allowing ourselves to be, and then to create from there. And this is something I'm now reminding myself whenever I can, to go into the heart and listen from there, share from there, speak from there. And while in the positive impact movement, we practice with the conversations we have, just reminding us to go there, so that we then, in the external world, can apply it at any moment in time. And I didn't know how to call it, and you told me, and I've seen that it really is something I was doing without recognizing, because I had been practicing it already unconsciously, then like 1.5 years in PI Move. But talking to you, having that conversation, gave me this awareness, and this it was really beautiful to discover it, to see it, and then to be able to consciously continue exploring and practicing this.
There's a few things that both you say that I think it's important to just kind of tease out. This even just starting at the end, there's the awareness of it. Okay, I'm doing it. It's not that it wasn't happening. It's gone from unconscious. It's gone from that was unconscious now becoming conscious. Yeah, I am doing this. This is a thing, and great. We'll name it. We'll call it active meditation. Great. We can claim it in that way. But now it's in here, you've been experimenting, you've been refining it, you've been in the active practice of it here, and you're bringing that out into your world. And I think that when I hear that, that to me, I call that that to me is the transformation. I call it the transformation framework, or a transformation process. But to me, I think that's the way. That's how do you do being? How do you be? It's that, and because I get it when you say it's the being, and what you're describing to me right here is the process that I have seen, to take an insight, to take an awareness and start to bring it into what your being is, into the practice, from one container to a much larger external environment, and to continue practicing it with it in real time. So I want to call that out, because that feels like a path to expanding the being. And as you're going through, I have to let you know something too. This morning has been all active meditation for me. I was running behind for my first conversation, and I hadn't had breakfast, and I have this new thing. I haven't been meditating passively or actively. I haven't done any meditation, and so I've made a commitment to do 35 minutes of uninterrupted meditation each day. Right? That's and I had to call it that. It's not a goal, because the goal was, when I realized, I'm I should probably get back into meditation. All right, I really, really need to get back into meditation. I set a goal of having 5 minutes of meditation a day. And something, as soon as I sent it out to someone, in my mastermind, I was this doesn't feel alive. What? It doesn't feel, it's just the lower hanging fruit. What if I sat down and I just committed, as opposed to saying oh, eventually I'll raise up my time. It's what if I chose first to commit and then go from there. And so what I decided to do was commit to doing basically 7 days worth of that meditation every day. All right. So 35 minutes there. And the uninterrupted part, it can be interrupted, but I know that it's better for me to not say, I'll do 15 here, 15 there. If I end up doing 15 here and 15 there, so be it. All right. Mm-hmm. This morning, I was coming into a conversation and I was like, I don't have 35 minutes of uninterrupted time to do this here, but I know I need to sink in. And it was clear. I had a bran muffin in the fridge that I warmed for exactly 14 seconds. And normally I put it in for 14 seconds and I'm running to get like some water and I'm like putting this thing here and I'm like trying to make sure, I'm like, okay, what's the first question I'm going to ask in this? And I kid you not, I thought of you. And I was like, you know what if this was the meditation? What if I just got conscious and became mindful of every single thing that's happening right now? And I remember pulling the perfectly warm 14-second like muffin out of the microwave and seeing almost like every single oat kernel on top of it, and recognizing like, oh, this is not just one muffin, you know, this is a collection of oats together, and taking a bite and seeing it and just like slowing down in that moment such that then I can enter into that conversation already in the practice of my meditation.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, that's it's being aware where you are, no? You're coming into the present, yes. And also going into your heart.
Can I ask you here, because like when you say going in through your heart, there's two things. I get it, and I get it because of my journeys, and I'm like, okay, I understand. Like when she says the heart, I get it because of the experiences I've had with you, you know, and I know what it's like to be in the heart space versus not. When you're coming through your heart, is there something that you're doing, or is there a way that you're being, or is there a path that you choose to like maybe even just like help you start to get access to the heart space?
Yeah, what I do is I have to see what I do, no? But
yeah,
think of see, not think. What I do is I change it, like my point of view into the heart, and I start feeling what I feel in the heart, well, the feelings I have, no? And then it's like the heart opens up, and I start, and I am more aware of what's happening around and where I am in the moment, and what that you are saying, what I'm feeling from your words, what I'm feeling, what I am, my emotions. So it goes more than what I'm thinking. It's more the feeling that takes not priority, but it's what I see and feel more than what I think. You know, it's the heart, that the one that leads, and not the mind.
Yeah, thank you for that. Like, what I get about what you said there is like that might be a practice for us here. Like it may be something that like I'm grateful, because whether or not someone's able to take it on like this first time that they're doing, and they're like, oh, there goes the heart. I'm seeing from the heart. I'm feeling from the heart. There'll be a day where that might sink into place. We talked about active meditation a few weeks ago, and it wasn't until today where I was like, whew, it came in. And so when that happens here, for anyone here, like what I love about this is the timeless element of this here. One day they may see through the heart and know like, oh, this is it. This is what it feels like. This is the difference between thinking and seeing with the head, and then being down here in the heart. You know, that really feels like it's really true. And I'm also recognizing something we've been. I want to check in real quick, because maybe our heart connection is so strong that that the internet is like, wait a minute, hold on.
There was some cutting off, yes.
Yeah, I think I love the way that I choose to live life. I'm like, oh, either like either there's something that's in disconnect, or there's something that is like really strong connection.
Yes, it's over connection.
Yeah. It's like, and then it's like, wait, where's the space for me if y'all are connecting like this? Can I also, I'm gonna call out one other thing. I feel like this wants to come through me here. And this is for, I want to call out one of the things that I'm doing right now, or that is happening here, right? And this is actually one of the latter stages I look into from the being part of the journey.
Yeah.
And being, learning, leading, it's all the same framework. It's all based on like the 4 stages of learning, or 4 stages of competencies, which goes from unconscious incompetence all the way to conscious competence, right? Unconscious incompetence all the way to unconscious competence, with several different levels in between. I talk about that a lot, so I won't go through each of them right now. But what I do want to call out something, and I think this is part of what makes our conversation so rich, and just like being in the space with you, the process of going from what is unconscious, what you do so well unconsciously, to then make conscious once again. Like that is an actual really important step of the being process. It's something that allows us to lead others, to bring others, to have others go and experience it as well. And so I want to call out, I felt you just sink into that. You called it out. You're like, this is usually an unconscious thing that I'm doing. So I'm going to be in this space right now to try and see, how do I to see it again, to become conscious of it. What is it? Like, I just speak from the heart. I just come from the heart now. Like, what does it mean to get into the heart beforehand? And really breaking that down here. I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge the process, because I see it here. It's part of what I think brings out nuance and allows other people to come on the journey as well. And I just want to call out this part of the process here, because it's not everyone is willing to unpack, or is able to unpack, or chooses to unpack that which has been coming naturally. And now there's at least there's a different level of ownership. I'm like, when I call that out for you, I'm sure you're familiar with the process, but like, I'm kind of curious about what anything that comes to mind once I call that out in this moment. I mainly want to make sure I'm shining a light on it.
Yeah, and for me, many things that we are doing now have come through exploration, experiencing, and practicing. No, and I many times, and what we are living, you and me here together now in this conversation, the opening of the heart, the listening through the heart, the sharing through the heart. At the end, that has to be experienced to understand, because it's difficult to understand with the mind what these kinds of things, no? And how many times have I read books and said, okay, I go and I don't know, I do that, but that's my mind. Until I didn't explore and experience it, I didn't understand it. But I believe that by exploring, experiencing, practicing to be who you are, so to really be, no matter what, knowing that nothing bad is going to happen, because you are expressing in respect and in love what you are feeling, and you, Niiamah, do that a lot. Nothing bad happens with that. So the more you explore and experience and practice to be who you are in freedom and safety, the more you get rid of patterns and things you've learned. So you're unlearning to experience more and expand, going back in what you were saying before, expanding and growing. But it has to do with experiencing it. So, and the experiencing of it, it really goes into this unlearning process. But through exploring yourself, through experiencing yourself, not because someone tells you to do that, because that has worked for that person or that book. But you are your own guru. You are your own leader. No? You are your own teacher. In life, you are the one that is going to learn for yourself or unlearn for yourself. Is the one that is going to be freeing you to be who you are. And it has to do with recognizing experiences, feeling yourself, no? And loving yourself above anything else, no? When you love yourself, you value and you respect yourself, and then for sure the rest, because you understand that you're not you only, you are you and everyone and everything else in this world. And this is because you're recognizing through the love, you're connecting to your heart. And then from there is this expansion and this unity, this oneness, and that your being, when you recognize your being and your freedom, when you experience it, there's no way back, no? So everything has to do with experiences. The mind can understand it and say, yes, okay, I will go into my heart. I will connect to my heart. Yes, no, but like you were saying before, the day you do it, you say, wow, now I understand it. No, now I know what it is.
And even that, I'm still exploring. I'm still in the experience of it, right? It's like,
me too.
Yeah.
So much to learn still.
But that's where the practice comes in. It's like, okay, now I've experienced it, now I can go in and practice it a little bit more. And
yes, because I've recognized it.
Yeah, and it's lived inside. So this is, I'm part of me over here is smiling in a really big way, because I tend to you say explore, experience, and practice, and I was like, eep. That's so good. And then the idea of oh, actually, no, this is like a deep process here. And it's like discover, explore, experience, and practice there. And I was like DEEP. So I'm taking that here. And I want to call out something that I think is part of why our conversations feel so effortless and smooth here. What that process that they explore, experience, practice, right, is almost like in exact alignment with I have the EDGE transformation framework, right? And I'll say explore, dare, grow, and evolve, right? But all of those things, even that, I think this goes right back down to the 4 stages of competency, right? And it's like, all right, if you're moving from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence, if you're moving from a place of, I didn't really know this, now I'm learning it. It's like, okay, we got to be in an exploring stage, to okay, now I'm knowing it, but I want to get better at it, because I recognize that I don't really have it right now. Well, now let's go and experience it, okay, well, I can do it. Now, if I'm experiencing it, I've done it, I have a conscious understanding of it, well, let's go practice that. And we practice it so much that then it comes to the point where it becomes unconscious within you again. And you're like, I'm not even thinking about it. I just go down to my heart, for example. And then we have the final stage of being able to then become conscious of the things that we were unconscious of. So there's an element of this where I'm like, I think there's a part where I'm like, oh, I get this, because this is part of the process of being and becoming and beyond,
Yes.
There's my invitation to anyone that's watching this at any point here, and I'm going to take this for myself going forward here, to not try and make sense of anything that we're saying.
No, not at all.
But I had another suggestion. I'm kind of you do it. You're like, don't even begin to make sense. What would you invite them to do instead of trying to make sense of anything we're saying? What do you invite them to do instead?
Just feel it. Feel what you've heard. Feel how you feel. Feel, and don't put the mind in it, because our mind, it's not us. Our mind, it's our heart that is guides us and grows us. And our mind is to serve our heart. And many times when we are learning or unlearning, the mind plays a lot, many games. And we just have to recognize that the mind plays games, and not necessarily is truth, but with the heart, when you feel with the heart, you feel what's good for you, what's truth for you, and what is not. Because we might have been talking here about things that don't fit to someone, which is normal, because we are so differently and so unique. I always say we are perfectly imperfect, and everyone is so unique, and there's no one size fits all. And that's why I can be explaining and sharing about what I feel and how I feel, but that's not a way for someone else to go into the heart, to connect to the heart. There are infinite ways to connect to the heart. So it's up to everyone to just explore, experience, and practice, because I'm the way I do it serves me. But surely there are a lot of ways to do that. No, that's the way it has served me. But how did I recognize it? Because I have been feeling it, and I've been seeing it. I've been exploring and observing it. No, and in life, I think there's the beauty of being in the present and connected to the heart is really that we are observing all the time our feelings, our thoughts, our interaction. So I'm sorry, this is my dog.
We're great.
But
I'm experiencing that as well. We're good.
Thank you. But yes, so it might serve me, it might serve you, but everyone has to listen and feel their heart for their guidance and their way of being that is so unique, so beautifully unique.
I'm going to just breathe that in really quickly as well. It's a really powerful sentiment that you had there, and we're at the top of our hour, so we're going to wrap it up for this particular conversation. But it's a really beautiful sentiment that you brought in that just makes me feel, it makes me feel expansive in that there, and I'm grateful for you. I'm glad that you play the game that you do. I recognize this is like the end of the conversation, but we've talked about positive impact movement. We talked about PI move. I don't think we've actually really given space. We've mentioned it, but I don't think we've actually given space to like what it is. I would love for you to just speak to that really quickly, as well as anything you want to say about socially conscious leaders. We'll do it. It needs more time. You and I will have more time. We'll have additional things around it, but I do want to just put that into this space before we close for today.
Yeah, thank you. No, well, first of all, I think it's, before I talk about the positive impact movement, I love to talk talk about socially conscious leaders and leadership, because each of us in this world, each human can be a socially conscious leader. We are. It can be. No, we are. Socially conscious leadership has to do with living from the inside out and allowing ourselves to be uniquely, perfectly imperfect. And love ourselves, respect ourselves, value ourselves, and do the same with everyone else, but not because we have to. No, because once you love yourself, value and respect yourself, when you are in your heart, you do it for the other ones, and you understand that you are walking your shoes and everyone else walks their shoes. And from there comes co-creation. Co-creation, Niiamah said at the beginning, that I differentiate co-creation and collaboration, because collaboration sometimes has to do with more I give you and you give me, and then we create something together. But co-creation has to do with this dance of giving and receiving through who I am and what I create. It's this summing up exponentially. I am 100%, you are 100%, and together we create 300% and even more. We are limitless. You are limited through your power of being. I am limitless through my power of being. Together we create limitless. So this we are PI Move in Positive Impact Movement. We say together we are limitless because of this, because we together are able to co-create something that we even don't know what we are co-creating, because it's through this summing up of our hearts and our limitless potential that our mind is never able to grasp. So Positive Impact Movement is a movement. It has its name because of this, because I always believe that behind anything there are people, and if we are in our freedom to be who we are and create what we love, we positively impact our surrounding and our world. This is also to be the change we want to see in this world. We start with ourselves, from the heart to the world. So yes, and you, Niiamah, are a socially conscious leader, and I love you, and I thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Deep love for you.
Conversation I have with you, and for being with you, because I co-learn and I grow and expand a lot with you, and I appreciate that, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Thank you, really.
Well, I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful to experience you. I'm grateful to experience me through you, and I'm also grateful to experience me with you. There's I have gotten a major insight from this conversation, and around the importance of experience, and something that I've been doing kind of subconsciously or unconsciously, where it's I'm like, let's just breathe right now. It's like, we can talk about it, but let's just have another experience. And I think that there's so much that I can go on around this here, but I just know we'll have additional conversations. If someone wanted to follow, to come and participate, no, here it is, all the wrong words. If someone wanted to experience you, what would you, if someone would experience you now in PI Movement, where can they go?
Yes, well, pimove.org or pimove.earth. It's a community where we explore, experience, and practice to be. We learn, we discover, explore, and experience, and practice the leader that we are, because in this world, everyone is a leader, and it's this becoming aware of this power of being that we have, and the immense possibility of co-creation through that, that we, by day, we can practice, but it's not only in the community or in the movement, but also outside, because at the end, we are who we are here and everywhere. And so it's this co-creation together of this new world where we are all free to be and create what we love. Yes, and it's PI Move Earth.
We'll leave it at that there. Jeannette, thank you so much here. I'm glad that we are in experience together. I'm looking forward to our upcoming experiences from here. All right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
We're just getting started. Take 10 seconds to think about your greatest insight from today's conversation. And if you're ready to go and bring this to a deeper, more applicable level for you, come and join us in an upcoming masterclass. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass to be coached live and to bring your aspirations, your goals, and your challenges and have them handled in real time. This is high flame, high impact, high transformation. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass and come experience your next level of leadership.